Namaskar, Dileep Singh Advocate. Welcome to my channel Legal Outlook by Dileep Singh. On 27th April 1978, a very landmark judgment of Supreme Court in three judges bench decided the issue of share of widow in her husband's property. This was a full bench because there were three judges. Three judges bench is called full bench. The case was Gurupad Khandappa versus Hirabai Khandappa, 1978 AIR 1239, and the bench was of Chief Justice Y.B. Chandrachud, and the other two judges were P.N. Singhal and Justice Tuljapurkar. Very beautifully, it cleared the concept of the division of co-partnership share and personal share of a Hindu in the joint family property. Hirabai filed a suit for partition seeking her 7/24th share in the property of her husband. Because on notional partition, she claimed that the joint family property was of the deceased husband was partitioned, and she claimed her 1/4 share at the first instance in the co-partnership property. Rest 3/4 were going to deceased husband, and two sons, because the two sons were the co-partner. The next step was the division of 1/4 share of her husband, and which was to be divided as per the section 8 of Hindu Succession Act. So because they had three married daughters also, so Hirabai got 1/24th share from the 1/4 share of her husband, and adding together it became 7/24th share, and Supreme Court decided this case in favor of Hirabai and gave this 7/24th share. And because in this case, Supreme Court very beautifully discussed about the co-personal share of a person and the personal share of the person. And this is a very basic concepts of partition of Hindu property. On my last two videos, which I made about the Hindu Succession Act and partition of the property, I received almost more than 100 questions from our viewer, and almost all those questions were concerned with their problems. And so after going through all these questions, which I replied personally, I found that if certain basic concepts are cleared about the issue, it will help you better to understand your problem, and you will analyze and find the solutions. And your response to my Hindu Succession Act video was very overwhelming, and I'm so happy, and thank you once again. I have answered the questions, and this basic concept which I need to develop about those problems. First, I'll suggest you to watch this video in proximity with my other two videos on Hindu Succession Act to develop the basic understanding and have an enriching experience. I have prepared the questions and answers keeping in mind the questions and the problems raised by you. First, let us understand that a Hindu has got two types of share in the joint family property. First is co-partnership share, and other is personal share. Then what is co-partnership share? What is co-partnership share? The share which a Hindu gets in partition between him and his father. Then what is personal share? The share a Hindu gets in partition between him and his sons and daughter. So first co-partnership share is father, and then co-partnership share with personal share with the partition of son and daughters. I have just discussed about the Gurupad Khandappa versus Hirabai case. The co-partnership share of the property of husband of Hirabai was divided among Hirabai and two sons, including one share to her husband. So 1/4 share came to the Hirabai, and another 1/4 share which was of the husband of Hirabai then again got divided, because that 1/4 share was the personal share, so it got divided under section 8 of the Hindu Succession Act, not by the survivorship. First divided by survivorship, then by 1/4 divided as per the Hindu Succession Act. Because there were three unmarried daughters also, so including that share, they were also given the share as per they were being the first class share of Hindu in section 8 of the Hindu Succession Act. So now the question arises कि what changes took place after 1956? Just remember that because of this 1956 problem, amendment on the 1956 Act, the personal share was not devolved upon the by survivorship but by as per the section 8 of the Hindu Succession Act. As per the old Hindu law, even the personal share would have been devolved as per the survivorship. So this is the basic difference. Now the next question is whether a daughter can demand or get a share in the agricultural land after the amendment. Yes, a daughter can demand and get share in the agricultural land after 2005 amendment, because in 2005 amendment the in section 4 subsection 2 of the Hindu Succession Act 1956 has been deleted, because that section, subsection 2 of section 4, which barred the applicability of the provisions of Hindu Succession Act to agricultural land. Now the position is very clear, and the women inheritance right in the agricultural land is equal to the male, or daughters is equal to the son. In 2005 amendment, the 2005 amendment has also very successfully bought agricultural properties at par with other properties, and thus had made the women's inheritance right in the agricultural land equal to that of man. And and particularly this deletion has of section 4.2 is very overriding effect on the on overriding effect, and if there is any consistency in the state laws regarding the agricultural land, this 2005 amendment will prevail, and by virtue of this amendment the daughters are made co-partner even in agricultural land. What is most significant part of this amendment is that this has overriding effect on the state laws. Now the next question comes to my mind is, what is the advantage of deletion of section 4.2 of the Hindu Succession Act? This has benefited millions of women dependent on the agricultural lands for survival. This is the best legal step taken by government for gender equality, and particularly this is the best approach to create a sense of participation and lower the risk of poverty among the daughters, and it will increase her livelihood, prospect, his education as well as health. This will give her a decision making power, and this will also reduce the domestic violence. So this is a welcome step in the women empowerment. Now the question arises, can a daughter ask for reopening of the partition effected before 28th December 2004 or after 28th December 2004? Because most of the questions were revolving around it. So the answer is yes, a daughter can ask for reopening of the registered partition affected after 28th December 2004 onwards, whereas she can ask for reopening of unregistered and oral partition that had taken place before or after 28th December 2004. However, she cannot demand the reopening of partition which has taken place either by duly registered document or by the decree of court of law after 28th December 2004. The next question, which is I would like to put here, that whether a daughter can challenge the alienation made by her father in his capacity as Karta. Yes, she can challenge the alienation made by her father as Karta on the ground of non-existence of legal necessity, benefit of estate and indispensable duties. So these are the grounds on which she can challenge. The next is whether a daughter can blend her self-acquired property in the joint family property of her father's family. Yes, she can blend if she wishes. Then she can blend her separately acquired property with the joint family property. Now the next question is whether a sister can seek partition of the dwelling unit in joint occupation of her brothers. Yes, she can seek partition in the family dwelling house which is in the joint occupation of her brother through this amendment of 2005. The provision of section 23 of Act 1956 is omitted, and that 23 was relating to the dwelling unit, and so the hurdle created in partition has been or avoided, has been deleted, so the dwelling unit can be partitioned. Now the next question, what is the status of a married daughter? There is no difference, there is no distinction in married, unmarried, there is no distinction between divorcee and widow. All are put on equal front. So the next question is, how a daughter how can a daughter alienate her undivided share in the co-partnership property? How can she alienate? Her right to alienate her undivided interest is governed by the same rules or same provisions which governs the right of her male counterparts or her brother, or in son and daughter are put on the same footing. Now, can a daughter bequeath her share in favor of any person? Yes. A daughter can execute a will with regard to her undivided share in the co-partnership property like a son, and that will come into effect after her death. Then, what about making a gift deed? Can she make a gift deed in favor of anyone? This is very important question, because the idea of prohibiting making gift deed and making gift deed in any favor has a very far-reaching consequences. She cannot gift her undivided interest to any person, including even co-partner. This is a very intelligent legislative device to counter the pressure which usually created by family on the daughter to gift her share in favor of her brother or any male relatives. In my previous video on section 6 of Hindu Succession Act with title part 1 deciding share in property in Hindu family, partition and succession laws and Supreme Court, I have told you a story or facts related to a very famous case known as the Commissioner of Wealth Tax Kanpur versus Chandar Sen. If you are not remembering, please watch that video, because I am going to reply the questions I had given to you and I had raised in that video. That the case was of Chandar Sen, if you remember, and his father Rangilal, because Chandar Sen received two kinds of properties from his father. First, on partition with his father in his lifetime, and other because he was the only son, his mother and no daughter, so he was the only son, so he received thereafter the share of his father after his death. So there were two kinds of properties, and the decision given by Supreme Court in Chandar Sen case is almost similar to the Hirabai case which I discussed earlier. The Chandar Sen received two kinds of property. One, at the time of partition he received the property which while his father was alive, that was of joint Hindu family property and the co-partnership property. And later on, after his father died, there was an amount lying in his account of the partnership firm where he was the partner. That was received by Chandar Sen as personal share, and so it was received and inherited as an individual. So the wealth tax, Supreme Court held that what he received as the joint family property was taxed as the joint Hindu family property, and what he received as an individual must be taxed as the individual property. Now from this video I'm starting one new thing, that at the end of my video I'll share a very interesting and wonderful and about an incident about any great personality. Today that great personality is Sardar Patel. He was a great lawyer and barrister at law from London. Once he was arguing a murder case, and it was a very serious case and very important case. And in the mid of the argument, he received one of his associates came and told him that he has received a telegram and informing that wife of Sardar Patel has passed away. After hearing it, Sardar Patel paused for a moment and said him that gone is, I could not save her, but if I can save this my client, let me argue. and he continued his argument and won the case, saved the life of his client. So this is the type of commitment the great persons have towards their work. We salute that great personality, the great advocate, and the great commitment to the work. Thanks for watching this video. Please keep sharing your issues, your problems, your views, everything about the video and the contents of the video. I'll be very obliged, and I am obliged with the responses you are giving to me. Please subscribe to my channel. By subscribing, you are wishing me good luck. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe it. And please share my video with your friends so that it can reach to the many persons. Like my video to encourage me. Thank you very much. Namaskar.